Monday, February 6th, the year is 2012. We're visiting with Mr.
Valier Jandreau. Yeah.
Valier Jandreau from St. Francis, Maine. And we're at Highview Manor in Madawaska. And I've been asking Mr. Jandreau for an interview for a couple of years. We finally said yes. How old are you, Mr. Jandreau?
I'm 90.
90 years old. Well, if you went to World War II, I imagine you'd be.
Yes.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
The war has been over for a time ago, 70 years almost.
About, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in St. Francis, I noticed a lot of men from St. Francis went in the service.
Yeah.
Seems to be there's a lot of. And so when did you go?
I volunteered for the service in 1940.
Wow. Before the war started?
Before the war started, yeah. And I served in Africa and Sicily and in Europe. I made the invasion of Omaha Beach.
Wow.
And I made the invasion at Gala Beach in Sicily.
Where's that? In Sicily?
At Gala Beach, Sicily.
That's before Omaha?
Oh, before Omaha.
Yeah.
And I made an invasion in Oran in North Africa.
Wow.
So I fought in Tunisia.
So you were, what made you join the army at, how old were you? 18?
I wasn't quite 18, but I wanted to see the rest of the world. And I went. And I saw a lot more than what I wanted.
You're lucky to be here to tell us about it.
I'm lucky to be alive, yeah.
Now, was there talk of war there when you went? The Germans were starting to invade Europe, sir.
Yeah, they had conquered Europe. And I wanted to get in there, you know.
You expected to...
Well, I would have been drafted.
Okay, yeah.
So I volunteered in 1940.
And that was in the Army?
In the Army, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I intended to go in the Marine Corps, but when I went to Bangor in a recruiting office, and I didn't know where I was, so I was in an Army recruiting office. So they said, we're not going to let this guy go.
Yeah, they were glad to have you.
So they drafted, I volunteered, I went in the Army.
You seem to be a fairly tall guy. How tall were you?
I'm 6'2".
That's big for a Frenchman from the valley, huh?
Yeah, it is.
They were glad to see you there. Here comes a good fighter.
Here comes a big man.
What did you do before? What were your choices at 18? Did you go to high school? Did you graduate or anything like that?
I had a couple of years of high school.
Okay.
Before I went into the service. Then when I came out, I went to night school and I got my diploma for 4 years of high school.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, who are your relatives? We know a lot of people from St. Francis there. Is Valier Jandreau related to you? That's Gerard.
Yes, she's my wife's sister.
Oh.
And
she's like a sister-in-law to you then.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and she was a Jandreau.
Yes.
So you married a Jandreau too?
I married a Jandreau. Keep the Jandreau going.
I know, like for instance, I go to see basketball games in Fort Kent, you know, and one guy who was always there is Oscar Willett.
Oh yes.
He's about your age, isn't he?
Oscar's, I think, is a year older than me.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I know Oscar well.
Yeah. Nice man.
He is, yeah.
He goes to all the ball games and drives his car and.
Oh yeah, he's smart for his age. He's very smart.
Yeah. He did go in the Army too, he told me.
He was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now you leave St. Francis, you go to Bangor, and you're not sure what you're doing because you joined the wrong branch. Where do you go from there?
You know, I wasn't in St. Francis. I was in a lumber camp at St. John Pond. And I could hear the train whistle, and I thought, me and another guy, we would go and we were going to jump on that train. So we grabbed a sandwich and we headed cross country where we were hearing that whistle. Well, that was a lot further than we thought. We went through bogs and beaver dam. We pretty near missed that train. When we got up there, the train was passing, was going. So we ran like two son of a gun and got up on the railroad track, and we're waving and waving our hand, and finally the freight stopped in the middle of the North Woods.
Oh.
Find two young boys standing on a railroad track. And we jumped in the caboose and headed for Bangor.
Now, was that in the winter or the summer?
That was in the winter, in the fall.
Fall. Now, where's St. John Pond?
That's at the head of St. John River, I would think, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's deep in the woods.
Oh yeah, it's way up in there.
So this is what you were doing? You were a lumberjack at that time?
Yeah.
You wanted to see if there was something else you could do?
But it was nothing for us. In those days, walking was nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
My father did the same thing, you know, when he was 15 years old, up in the Allagash. And sometimes when you get up in the morning, you'd have to walk quite a ways from the camp. And he found coming back after the day's work was the hardest thing, you know, especially on cold, cold days, though.
Yeah.
So, so where'd you go after Bangor after you signed up there?
Then I went to Camp Devens.
That's in Massachusetts, I think.
Massachusetts, where they assigned me to the 1st Infantry Division. I wanted to join with the Marine, and then no, they didn't have no. But I didn't know I was in an Army recruiting office. They were not about to let me go. So they said, no, the Marines are full, they don't want anybody. So finally, we have a place in the Army.
Now, was your buddy that got on the train with you, did he join?
He was there, yeah.
He joined too?
Yeah. So we signed up for the Army.
Yeah.
He said, oh, here, we have a place in the infantry for you. And I went with the 1st Infantry Division. Him, I never saw him after that. Where he left, I don't know.
Was he a local guy?
Yeah.
Did he make it through the war?
Yeah, he came back, but he died shortly afterward.
Oh, is that right, huh?
Probably from something that he picked up over there. You know.
Probably wounded or something. So then, okay, we're in 1940, in the fall. Did we didn't go there right away, did we, the U.S.? No.
No, I went to Fort Devens.
Yeah.
Where I trained there with the 26th Infantry Regiment that belonged to the 1st Division. The big red one, they used to call that.
Now, we didn't get into the war until Japan attacked us, right? When did you cross over?
I crossed over in 1940, 42.
42?
Yeah.
So you were here almost 2 years in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Training here and there, or did you go somewhere else besides Fort Devens?
Well, I went in the Caribbean. I did a lot of training on ship and climbing down off a net and into boats and that. We were more or less what they called then an amphibious division. So we'd climb off of those nets into the boat. That would swing back and forth, and when it would swing in, we'd slam against the side of the ship. Some would fall off. We lost, I think, 3 men there that would fell off between the ship and the boat.
And they drowned?
Oh, they went down. We never saw them.
Wow. That must have been scary?
Yeah, it was kind of rough. But
You had to be strong to climb that.
One guy didn't like me that well because I had got into a scrape with him and I got the best of him. And he tied me on a short rope. Now we used to go down those net and they would tie an ammunition box or something and we'd lower that with us in the boat. And then when we'd get on the net, we'd bring it back up on the boat. So we'd have ammunition stack on the shore.
Oh yeah.
So when I got on the net to climb it, he had tied me on a short rope. So I got halfway up the net and I was tied down. I couldn't get up any further.
Holy jeez.
And then the ship would rock like this and I would swing away, then it would bang me against the side of the ship. And I hung on, then I went back down, untied my rope and I went up.
So how did you take care of him after that?
Him and I, we got into a tangle. No.
Oh boy, huh?
You know, and from that time on, I had to wash my back with him. You know, because he was a mean one. I didn't know it. You know, what had happened? You know,
yeah.
Come out. I joined the. I was in the army, and this guy was more of a bully than anything else. And he'd put on the gloves and he'd challenge anybody. And I came out of a lumber camp.
Yeah.
And we used to play around with boxing gloves. So I saw him out there and he's challenging everybody to come out and fight. So I said, I'll put the glove on with you. So I put the glove on with him. He was no more a boxer than anything else, you know. And the first punch I gave him, I knocked him right on his rear. He got up out of there and he came at me again, swinging. I backed up a little bit and I punched him again. He went down. So then he took his glove off and he wanted to fight. I took mine off. I said, come on. So we got into a fight.
No wonder he didn't like you anymore.
He didn't like me at all. He was a bully, that's what he was. You know.
Yeah.
He was no fighter or nothing.
Do you know where he was from?
I think he was from Tennessee, a southerner, you know, and
yeah.
I was a Yankee. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, that didn't work well.
No. So you, finally the war starts there and the Japanese attack us. That we declare the war on both sides, Europe and Japan. You guys are getting ready to go now.
Yeah.
Now Germany had invaded North Africa. They owned it, right?
Yeah.
All these countries in North Africa was under their control.
That's right.
That's where we started to come back. Is that where we went?
Yeah. I landed in Oran, North Africa.
On the beach.
On the beach. That's where I made my first invasion. Oran, North Africa. And it so happened that we had a man in our company that used to own he owned a fishing boat. And it was big enough for that the Navy confiscated that boat because he used to get out in the ocean and he would troll with that to catch fish. So they confiscated that boat. And he was with us in the infantry, and he used to walk like a duck. He was born on the ship, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And here they put him in the infantry. And he made the invasion with us in Africa. And it's a good thing in a way, because when we landed in Africa, we started from we were about 10 miles out, and it was foggy, and they couldn't see the shore or nothing.
You were in the boat, you were 10 miles
in the boat. So our boat was going the wrong way, and he had been over there with his fishing boat. It was quite a big boat. And he knew that at that time of the year that we were going against the tide. So we told whoever was driving that boat, he says, you're going the wrong way. How would you know? He says, I've been on this boat, I was born here on this boat. And he says, you're landing in North Africa. You should be going in with the tide. So they gave him the steering wheel.
Oh.
And he was right. He brought us into Oran.
Now, when you land there, was there an opposition? Were they shooting at you at that time, or?
Yeah, that was the French. Against the French. And when they realized we were American, they came to us. They would say, on est des Français, on ne tirera pas sur les Américains. Ça fait qu'on we landed there in Oran.
Now, were there French cooperating with the Germans, or these were resistant fighters you're talking about?
They were resistant fighters. They were fighting against the German.
Yeah.
And this is what joined us, you know.
Okay.
In fact, we had a French officer and 2 Frenchmen that fought with us through Tunisia. They stayed right in the company with us. Of course, they stayed with me because I could communicate with them in French.
Right.
Yeah.
So knowing French helped you in many ways.
Oh yes, they did. They did, yeah.
They must have been happy that an American could speak their language.
Oh, when we came in, because, you know, we went in, like me, I could speak French, so we gave them some of our weapon. So I was chosen to go and communicate with them how to disarm, how to open our weapon, how to fire them, how to use them. So I spent some time with them. You know, dismantle the weapon and put them back together. And,
so when you get off the beach there, when you get on the beach rather, there was no Germans shooting at you there at that time.
well, in Africa there were German there.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, when you landed, it was mostly Frenchmen?
They were mostly French, but they were very quick in joining in with us.
Okay. So where'd you go? Down and over the desert and everything? Where were the Germans there?
They were in Libya.
Okay.
And we crossed the Alps mountain there in Libya. I mean, then we went on the Libyan side, where the German were.
Okay.
And that's where we fought the German.
Now that was Rommel, was it, with his
Rommel,
tanks?
Yeah.
That was a big fight there.
Yeah, the biggest battle that we had there with the German was at El Yatar. And we stopped that was the first time in the war that a Panzer division had been stopped. And we stopped it, the 1st Infantry Division stopped them. In 3 days we stopped them dead in their track.
Is that right?
But they rode over us 3 times, over a foxhole where we were dug in, you know. And they would come in with their tanks, and we'd just duck down in there and let them go over us, and we'd shoot at the infantry. They were riding on the back of the tank. And we'd shoot at them.
The tank would go over you?
Oh yes, they would go right over their foxhole and that. And sometimes when they'd get over a hole, they would lag their legs so that they could dig down on us.
Oh yeah.
You know, the only thing we had as defense was what they call Molotov cocktail. And it's as big as a frying pan, and there's a cover over that. We could take that cover off and stick it underneath. But we were hoping that they would keep on going, because if they did not, it would explode and kill us.
Yeah.
So what we did the minute they drove off, we'd stick that on the back.
And that would explode?
That would explode and that would set them on fire. And we did, I think we destroyed 27 German tank with that, with those Molotov.
That's close combat, huh?
Oh, that was right hand to hand.
Well, your tank is over your head? The tank is over your head?
But we had to make sure that they were gone. Then we'd get out and stick them. There was a ring on that, we'd pull that and that would open. It would go about, I think, 5 seconds, then it would explode.
Oh boy. So you didn't want it to explode over your head?
No, so we ducked back in.
Wow.
And the German infantry was coming. So we'd shoot at him.
What was the casualty like on the American side? You were in there with a bunch of guys. Must have been a lot of people killed.
Oh, we had a lot of people killed. Especially there at El Guitar, where we stopped that German. panzer attacks. The first time in the war that a panzer attack had been stopped. And we did that, the 1st Infantry Division, we stopped them.
Now we're talking again 1942.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nazis were all over Europe. And,
oh, they were very powerful.
Yeah. And that's where we started to.
Yeah, and the dust and the smoke and that, we could shoot them from the back. Once they were gone, we'd get out and we'd shoot them. Anything that was walking there in the dust and that, we knew they were German. Because all American would ducked into foxhole.
Okay.
So we just blazed away.
I can just imagine being stuck in a foxhole with a tank go over your head.
Sometimes they would lag their legs so that they couldn't bury us in that. They knew we were there, you know. So they would just lag that and try to crush us in there.
Which they did sometimes?
And they did. They got some like that. Other would escape.
Now, where was the Air Force in there, or where were the planes? They must have been attacking the tanks too?
Oh yes, we had a plane at, I think I forgot the place where they were stationed. Yeah, we had airplane in there. And they would come in and strafe them and bomb them.
And they had some too, the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to. The dive bomber, the Stuka, and those would come straight down like this. And you could hear them scream, you know, they had like a screaming sound to them.
Yeah.
And they'd dive right straight down. As you know, there in Tunisia, where I fought in Tunisia, I shot one of those down.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah, because I was an automatic gunner on a BAR, Browning automatic. And they were diving down on our artillery. And I was on a point of a hill at that time. And I went up there and I seen when they pull out of the dive, they'd come up. And the German had a habit of following each other. So when I seen where he was coming up, I set my BAR right up there for when he came up here. And when the nose of his plane appeared there, I opened fire, and I was no more than, I would say, probably 100 yards from him when I saw the nose of the engine come up, and I opened fire. And I kept right on. I could see my tracer going right in. And he crashed behind there, not far.
Is that right?
Yeah. But then the others all took off the other way. They knew there was something wrong there.
They learned their lesson.
Yeah.
So how close did you come there in the desert of North Africa to getting killed or wounded?
Oh, I came very close that time.
Yeah.
That's where I got the Silver Star in North Africa.
The Silver Star is given not because you're wounded. It's bravery or what?
For heroism.
Okay.
It's the third highest medal they can give you. And I got that because I was clearing a minefield. We didn't have no magnet thing to clear the mine. We did it with our bayonet. So I had my bayonet on my rifle and I was poking around. If I hit a mine, I'd tear a piece of toilet paper and I'd put it on top of the mine with a rock. So that the infantry coming in wouldn't step on it.
Holy gee.
So that's what I was doing, and I was crossing that minefield in the dark, and I was poking around like this. And when I got across the minefield, there was a German machine gun that opened on my company that was coming in. And I was very close to him, because I threw a grenade in there, and I got him. There's one right in there, and I ran toward the foxhole. And there was a couple of them still alive. And I pulled them out and I stuck them with my bayonet and I pulled them out of the foxhole and I jumped in the foxhole in their place. Because my company was shooting back.
Oh yeah.
But I was in a good foxhole. So.
Well, that's coming close.
Oh yeah. So when they came in, for that they gave me the Silver Star.
So when they finally got to you there, did you put up a white flag or something?
Oh, I just stood up. I let them know. I yelled to them
Yeah,
who I was. They knew it was me.
Yeah. Now, there was no way to get rid of the mine except to identify where it was. Did they blow them up or something?
Not at that time. We had nothing to a mine detector. After that, they gave us a mine detector. We would sweep with that, and then that would beep, and we know there was a mine there. But before that, we just used our bayonet, and we'd strike one. We'd put a paper on it.
Now, how did you disengage this mine? Did you blow it up, or?
No, we would not disengage it. We just put a piece of toilet paper with a rock on it.
So that
would make a white spot, and they could step aside from that. They know where to step and not to step.
How accurate was that? Did somebody still
Well,
step on it?
if they stayed within the line that we had made, they'd be safe.
Okay.
But if someone stepped off of that, they wouldn't safe. They'd get blown up. Because most of those mines were set to go off at over 100 pounds.
Okay.
So that most GI weighed more than that.
Yeah.
If they step on one, boom, they'd go.
So that's why the bayonet didn't set it off.
No. So it was jabbed there, and it would the clink, and we'd put the paper on it and a rock. And that's what I was doing.
That sounds like very primitive, isn't it?
Primitive, yeah.
You know, it's not. Technology was not what it is today, huh?
No.
A piece of toilet paper and a rock.
So if you meet up with the enemy, you throw him a rock.
Wow. So how long did that take there in Libya? You were in Libya there, huh?
We were there almost a year. We fought in Tunisia, really.
Oh, okay.
In Tunisia, and we spent most of the year in there. Every mountaintop there in Tunisia, I was on that.
Is that right?
Because we were keeping the German from surrounding the 8th Army. So we'd climb up on those mountaintops and we'd take them. The 8th Army was coming along the coast. With the American, we were the one taking those hilltops. 609, 575, Tabletop Hill.
They all had names.
They all had names. But the American was the one taking. We were not getting any credit for it.
Who was fighting along you? The French?
And there was some French unit there, but they were mostly American and British.
British, yeah.
The British was coming up along the coast. And we were doing that so that they would not surround the British 8th Army. But you know, when that was over, because our uniform was so dirty and that they would not allow us to parade in Tunis because we would be a disgrace to the American Army. Because we were so dirty. No, that was pretty good.
Yeah. It's so you were there for, let's say, weeks at a time without taking a bath or.
Yeah, we were there. We were pretty close to a year in Tunisia.
Yeah. Not too many fanfalouches, comme on dit là. You didn't have any nice stuff for you.
No.
The showers with the change of clothes and.
No, we were so dirty that when we come out of there, it said they burn our uniform. And they showed us new one. That's how dirty we were.
I imagine.
Oh yes, I mean we hadn't showered or nothing. The first time that we washed, they brought us into a hot pool, you know, that was bubbling. It was hot. It was just perfect to go in and wash because that was volcanic. So we went in that pool and we washed up.
It was clear water.
With clear, lukewarm water, and that was bubbling. And we walked right in there and washed up. Then they issued us new clothes and burn hours.
Yeah.
They were too dirty, they didn't want it.
Now in the mountains of Tunisia, you say, huh?
Yeah.
When you're up on the mountain now, is it cold up there, even though this is a desert?
I remember some of those mountains that we had a foot of snow.
Is that right?
And we were dressed in summer uniform.
Yeah.
So when they got up, of course, I was used to snow. But some of those southern boys were not too used to snow, and all we could see was a hump in the snow. The snow had covered them under their blanket. All we had was a blanket to cover us.
No, isn't that something?
Yeah.
How about some of the natural stuff there in the desert and in the North Africa, like insects and snakes and
How was that?
insects and snakes and scorpions? And did you were you?
Hey, we had our helmet. If we laid down, we had to take it out and shake it. There were scorpions in there. Great big scorpion with a tail that was like this, you know. And our shoes, if we take our shoes off, we'd have to shake that out. Anything with our clothes, our scorpion would go in there because it was warm.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, we had to shake that out, and you'd see a great big scorpion coming out of there.
Oh, gee. Did anybody get stung?
Once in a while, somebody made a mistake, and he'd get stung, and he was sick. It wouldn't kill him, but it made him sick, very sick.
Very, very poisonous, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
No snakes too much?
And we had snakes,
Yeah.
rattlesnake, and there was a little green snake that was very dangerous. And I remember going into, there was a grove of beeches, and I reached in to grab one of them because they were just right. And I reached in there, and I saw a little green snake. The tongue I saw that in the branch, and I backed up. And this was what they call that snake in a way. Very poisonous snake.
Well, it wasn't big.
No, it was small thing.
Yeah.
But if that had hit me, I would have died right there.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Boy, some people must have been scared of those things, the scorpions and snakes.
Oh yeah.
Any big animals there, like some wild pigs or?
Yeah, there was some, and we had snake mostly.
Yeah.
Rattlers and things like that. You
Yeah.
move a rock, there'd be a big rattler underneath there.
Oh yeah. Now, no jungle there. It's all desert and mountains. And
Yeah.
there no jungle there, is there? That's south, huh?
In North Africa,
Yeah.
it was mostly hard-packed ground. When we crossed the Atlas Mountain, it was hard-packed ground. And we had the machine gun on our Jeep. And we could ride the back line with that and machine gun the enemy. Because that ground was packed so hard, look, we couldn't dig it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Not too much rainfall there.
No, because the mountain would stop the rain, it was too high.
Now you call those the Atlas Mountains?
The Atlas Mountain?
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're looking at, if I look at the map of Africa, there's Morocco, and then there's Tunisia, I think, and then Libya, and then Egypt, or where Algeria, huh?
Yeah, the right hand side of that was Libya. And we walked on top of the ridge of the mountain. We walked to Tunisia.
Okay.
That's where we got it. We got off of that. I'm going back a long ways here.
Yeah.
And we joined the part of the 8th Army behind the Marek line. which was in, where the heck was that?
Merit line, you
The
call it?
Merit Line. This was south of Tunisia,
Okay.
where the French had built a line of fort there. So we went there on the left flank of the British Army. We were like a nursemaid to the British Army. We'd take one hilltop and they would advance. We'd take another hilltop and they would advance.
You guys were risking.
Oh, yeah, and they were using us, you know. At Elietar, there was the first town that an armored division, German, had been stopped, dead in the strike.
Yeah.
And we're the one that did that. It took us 3 days to stop them. They ran over our foxhole, they retreated and came back and ran over again. Once they were gone by, we'd stand up and shoot them off with our tank. Then they retreated again and we'd shoot them off again. 3 times over our foxhole.
Who was the general there? The general for the Americans. Do you remember?
There we got Patton doing the last part of it. At first, this general was relieved. But we had a very good man in charge of the 1st Infantry. And we liked him very much, Terry Allen. Terry Allen and Brigadier Roosevelt, son of the Rough Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Was Brigadier Commander of the 1st Division.
Ted Roosevelt's son.
Yeah, and we loved both those men. Terry Allen was a very good general.
So in the army there, you're under some tremendous pressure. Your life is on the line. You have some good leaders, and you have some that are not good, or you don't like. Some bad.
Yeah.
And when you have one that you appreciate and you like, you follow him a little more, I imagine.
Oh yes, we loved Terry Allen.
Yeah.
And Brigadier Roosevelt because they were right with us.
Yeah.
But the first general that we had, we didn't like him at all because he went and dug himself a foxhole about 100 miles back of the line. You know, so that didn't go too big. So, no.
Do you remember the year now that you said it took a year to solidify North Africa, that you were rid of the Germans?
Yeah.
So where did you go after that?
I went to Sicily.
Sicily is an island in the Mediterranean.
In the Mediterranean, yeah.
And next to Italy, and that was all controlled by the Germans.
Yeah.
So you invade on the boats again?
Again, I landed at Gela Beach in Sicily. And we stormed that beach and we took it and fought. I think the campaign in Sicily lasted over a month. But it was a very hard fought campaign. Because the Germans were fighting for every foothold that they could hold. Because they knew from there that would be Italy.
Right.
So they gave us a hard time. But we won that battle also.
Now, what were you doing in Sicily? What was your job there?
I was a sergeant in the infantry.
You were a sergeant?
Yeah.
So you were with the men and...
Yeah. Took him in.
Trying to get some ground. Is Sicily mountainous?
It's very mountainous. And there was old building in there, old castle,
oh yeah.
Some of them were at least 8 or 10 feet thick rocks, you know, little narrow window and that.
Like a fort almost.
Yeah, I remember throwing a grenade in there and I climbed up against that thing and I got up there and the hole on the side of this castle was no more wide than this because they used to fire bow and arrow from that.
Yeah.
So I got up close enough and I tried to lob a grenade through there. And didn't I miss that friggin' narrow hole? And that came down on me.
Holy jeez.
But I was able to bat it aside and it went down there and it floated. Didn't kill anybody.
Holy boy, it went off.
Oh, it went off for sure. Then I backed up and I loaded an anti-tank grenade that I had, and I aimed it at that crack in there, and then I got that in there.
That one worked.
That one worked.
How long when you pull the pin on a grenade before it blows?
About 5 seconds.
Yeah. You have time to throw it, and if they catch it, they can't throw it back.
Sometimes they would, but
Is that right?
5 seconds didn't give them much time.
No. Had to throw it right away.
No, because the German would throw their potato masher at us, we call it potato masher. It's a stick and have the grenade on the end of it.
Yeah.
You would see that tumbling.
Oh yeah.
And when it would come, we were quick enough, you would catch it and throw it back. But
yeah, they had a different grenade, huh?
Yeah, they call that potato masher.
Yeah, it's almost like a pin there where you do some pies with.
Yeah.
Had a handle on it.
Yeah.
Those must have been effective though.
Oh, they were good because they had a handle and they could throw that.
Yeah.
But in the dark, we could see that tumbling. We knew that was a German grenade.
Oh yeah.
If we have time, we'd catch it and throw it back.
Did you, were you ever with people you knew from here? Did you meet some relatives or friends or?
I moved your camera.
That's all right.
No, I had a buddy one was from Eagle Lake.
Eagle Lake?
Initial from Eagle Lake. There was an F company of my battalion.
Okay.
And of course I had my best friend in the service was from Syracuse.
From where?
He was from Syracuse.
Syracuse, New York.
Yeah. Kienkowski, he was Polish. And him and I was very tight together.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. He was my second in command and everything. When I got promotion, he would come with me. I made sure he was there because he was a very good man.
So what happened to him?
He died shortly after the war, not too long.
Really?
Yeah. He was home twice he came home to visit me.
Oh, is that right?
And the last time he said, if you don't visit me, I'm not coming back. And I should have gone, but I didn't. You know, I was busy in the woodwork and I couldn't leave.
How long ago after the war was that?
He probably lived about 10 years.
Yeah. So he came to see you in the early 50s?
Oh yeah, he came twice at home. We were very close friends. I don't know why I didn't make an effort to go, but I know why, because I was too busy working in the wood.
Yeah.
Plus I didn't have the money to make the trip.
Yeah. Yeah, things were different there. People didn't take vacations too much.
No, we didn't take vacation at all.
What was he doing after the war, do you know?
He worked as a mechanic. He went to school and studied mechanic, and he worked in a garage as a mechanic.
You don't know what he died of?
Geez, most likely from PTSD.
Yeah.
Because his wife used to tell me that he'd wake out in the middle of the night and he would run around the house. He had that very bad.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I can see why, you know. I should have gone and visited that man. You know, I regretted that ever since. Because he needed me and I didn't go.
Well, we all make decisions like that once in a while. Did you have any after effects?
Well, yeah, I did. Because I was not comfortable unless I had a gun with me.
Wow.
And I carried an old 303 British. Wherever I went, that gun was with me.
Is that a pistol or a rifle?
No, a rifle. I had that under a brush pile and I know where it was, where I could get it real quick.
You didn't carry it with you, you just knew that it was close.
No, it didn't work. I know where it was.
Yeah. Did you have that in your car and did you have it in your truck?
I had that everywhere I went.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. because I couldn't stand anybody behind me. I couldn't stand that at all. You know?
Yeah.
Because we used to sit him and I in the desert, back to back, to watch the enemy so that they wouldn't come and cut our throat. And he would sit the other way and we were like this. Because they'd sneak up on us and room.
Is that right? You can't be much closer to a guy than that.
No, we can't.
You're depending on each other.
We depended on him for my life, and he depended on me.
Yeah?
You know, I remember one place where we were sitting back to back like this, and we heard quite a lot of noise because I was a Browning automatic gunner. They'd place us out on outposts. But I was hearing too much noise for my own good, you know, and I tapped him and I said, get out, let's get out of here. So we took our automatic and headed out and went back in the line where we had a foxhole dug already. So we jumped in there and he fired a flare, which he had a flare gun. That's a little parachute that would go up in the air and then it would float and it could light up the whole place. So we fired that and there was a whole battalion coming of the enemy. And I opened up from there. The blanket went flying there and everything, you know, because we were right in their line.
Wow.
It wasn't long that they were answering the fire.
Yeah.
But then the captain questioned me, how come I was there? And I told him as a captain, look, we were always told that a good soldier lives to fight another day. If I'd have stayed there, we'd both been dead. And now we're both alive.
Oh, he wasn't happy that you left.
No, that we were supposed to fight from the to give him enough time to get ready to repel that attack. But I says, here we are now, we're both alive, and we stopped that attack.
Yeah.
No, he says, you did the right thing. Yeah.
Now, how did you start firing at them, of course, and they start firing back? How did you get out of there? There was a battalion there? German?
So we stopped them.
Holy.
We stopped them right in their track.
Is that right?
From where we were. And then we attacked them. You know, once we stopped somebody like that, then we'd get on the move. And we attacked them and moved them back. That battle wasn't done.
Yeah.
So forward we went.
You're always risking your life all the time.
All the time.
You get over something and you have to go on again.
Yeah, I have to go on again.
So that's a lot of years there from Africa to Sicily. Now, you said a month it took to take Sicily away?
Sicily, yeah, that was very hard because it's a mountainous country. And there's old castle in there and all kinds of old building and they could hide in that.
In the mountains?
In the mountain. And like I'm telling you, I threw a grenade in the castle there and the hole was only that wide. And those castle walls would usually be about 8 to 10 feet thick.
They were old, huh?
Yeah.
Probably 1,000 years old?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So I hit the side of that and the grenade came down on us that were climbing. But luckily enough it didn't kill anybody.
Isn't that something? Now, we here in Fort Kent, we named our ski center the 10th Mountain Ski Club, you know. There was a 10th Mountain Division, I think in Italy or Sicily, that used skis or something to fight.
Yeah, they were trained to ski in the Alpine.
Okay.
Alpine Mountain. Because there was a lot of snow in there.
Yeah.
So they were trained for the mountain.
Did you see any of them? Did you meet them? No.
No, I've seen some of the 10th Mountain, but they were infantry on foot.
Yeah, okay. Because that still exists today, you know, 10th Mountains.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we hear about them.
Yeah, still a division.
Yeah.
Good division.
Yeah.
I imagine they probably still train on skis.
Yeah. Quite a thing.
Yeah.
So now we're in 1943 there.
No.
When you invade Sicily, right?
Yeah.
And you get the Germans out of there.
Yeah.
Completely.
Completely, yeah.
Did any of them stay back and snipe at you? And
Oh yes,
Yeah.
they were sniping at us from mountaintop everywhere.
yeah,
And you had to be a good shot, you had to be good with a rifle. Which I happen to be very good with a rifle.
really?
Because being born in northern Maine here, I learned to shoot early.
Yeah. Learn to shoot deer.
Deer and rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So now you're, what's the next step after Sicily there?
I went back to England and we trained for Omaha Beach.
You didn't go into Italy?
No.
Okay. So already now the Russians are on the Eastern Front and they're coming in and you're coming in from the other side. And we're going to go and get rid of them. So it's a big move, eh?
Yeah, it is a big move.
You knew that a lot of guys would get killed there.
Yeah, right from the start. I knew we were going to lose a lot of men. Yeah. And, I trained another outfit completely because we had lost so many, you know. Come in and retrain them.
So at that point, you're a veteran soldier.
Yes.
You know what you're doing, and you're teaching others how to do it.
Now, at that point, I was a staff sergeant. But somebody in battalion was holding my rank, which I should have been a tech. But there's only so many tech in a battalion, there's only so many staff, and that's how it went. So this guy was holding my rank. So I was doing the job of a tech while I was still a staff sergeant.
A tech sergeant? Tech, is that what they call
A tech, yeah.
It's higher than staff.
Yeah, and this guy was holding my rank. And the only way I could get rid of him is to get a blue envelope and write to battalion. Because I was doing that job and I was not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Money-wise, I was not getting it. But I wasn't, they never did the transfer, you know. So when I landed in Omaha Beach, I was still a staff sergeant. I was in charge of a platoon, 40 men. That's how fair they were.
Yeah, well, a lot of things happen, huh?
Yeah, a lot of things.
Now you're in England, how long before you know you're going to go there?
Probably a month. Oh, no, I was longer than that. No. I was there about 6 months in England.
Yeah.
Training for Omaha Beach.
Thousands and thousands of men, huh?
Yeah, and the last week they took us into all the staff sergeant on up and the officers, they took us into a room, separate place from our men. Because they had a big room there with, it was all made out of foam, where the beach was, a little house there and a bunker there and a trench there, and it showed that all on that rubberized mat. And we were walking among them. So it showed us where we were landing. So we could memorize that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, you could step in a little house and it would bounce back.
Now, did you see Eisenhower? Did you?
I saw him once before we left for, about a day before we left for Omaha Beach. He came out and gave us a pep talk.
Yeah. He knew a lot of you would not come back.
So we know where we're going.
Yeah.
And we know where we're going to.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. By that time we all know.
So you get on a, what do you call, landing boat there?
It was
But they,
I forgot the name.
yeah, it's a launch, huh? It's they have sometimes you have tanks on there too, and
Oh yeah, there was a big flat bottom boat where the tank would get in.
Yeah.
This was like an LCI, they would call that. This was infantry, and we could get in that. It would hold about 40 men in that, and you could drop a ramp in front of that, just run off of it.
Yeah, into the water.
Into the water, yeah.
I've seen, you know, I've never been in the service, but I've seen a lot of movies about it. Let me see now. I have a picture of Mr. Valier Jandreau when he was 22 years old. This picture was taken right in the middle of the war. That those stripes on your sleeve, that's Staff Sergeant?
Staff Sergeant,
yeah. Good-looking man, Mr. Jandreau.
Well, I thank you.
Yeah. You've got a display here of all kinds of medals. Let's start with the one on top, on the next to you there, what that is.
That's a Silver Star.
Oh, that's the one you were talking about a while ago.
Yeah, that's the third highest medal that they can award.
And you got that in North Africa?
North Africa, for knocking out a machine gun nest.
Wow. Okay, the one in the middle there?
This is a state Silver Star. That's the state that awarded that to anyone that has got a Purple Heart.
You got a Purple Heart too. Well, everybody's seen a Purple Heart, but I didn't know you had one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Where'd you get that?
I got that in Normandy.
Okay. We're gonna come back to that later. Now the star on the other end.
This one?
Yeah, with the red ribbon.
That's the Bronze Star.
Okay, how do you get that?
That's for heroism under fire.
So that's almost like the Silver Star.
It's almost, not quite.
So what did you do to get that one?
But there's that one. That I spent, let's see. I was in 12 major battles in the infantry. And that is why they give me this.
So it's like your whole career.
Yeah.
You get those when you come out of the service, or do you get them right in the middle of it?
I got this when I was in the service, and I was decorated by the general.
Silver Star.
Yeah. This I got this after I got out of the service.
Okay. Let me go back to that panel there. All right, now there's some ribbons there in the middle. What is that? Yeah.
That's the Purple Heart ribbon that goes with this.
Okay.
And this is Silver Star ribbon with an oak leaf cluster that goes up here.
Okay.
I have an oak leaf cluster with that.
Does that mean something?
It means that I have 2 Silver Star.
Oh. C'est vrai que tu t'as battu?
Oh yeah, I've been in there. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. How about the other ribbons there, the other end there, yellow and red? In milieu, yeah.
This is the American Defense Medal. This is the American, wait, no, I don't know. This one here.
Oh yeah, there's a yellow one there. There it is, yeah.
There's the American Defense and the American, geez, I forgot. I'm only 90 years old, you know.
I know. You're doing okay.
And this is part of the Bronze Star ribbon. This is part of this ribbon here.
The yellow one, you can't remember what that's for.
I can't.
Now there's one next to it there that's green.
This one?
Yeah.
That's the African and European campaign ribbon. And that has 2 bronze arrows on it. The bronze arrow means that we spearheaded 2 of those campaigns. We were the spearhead of those campaigns.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it means.
Right on the front line.
Yeah. Now this year I have a Bronze Star, which is 1 major battle. This is Silver Star, that's 5 major battle, and I have 2 Silver Star and 2 Bronze Star. So I was in 12 major battles. Now, wonder why I'm alive.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Now the last one here, I don't know if I can see it there. Attends, là. Il est dans le coin, les rouges, là, tu dis que c'est ça, là?
There's the American Defense Medal.
Okay. All right.
Those are medal and those are award, okay?
Yeah. Oh,
that's the state of Maine Silver Star.
Attends, là, là. Which one is that?
This one here.
That's what?
The state of Maine Silver Star.
Oh, the state of Maine.
They'll award you that if you had the Purple Heart.
Okay. Now, the Purple Heart, how did you get that?
I was wounded.
In Normandy, you said? Did you say that?
Yeah.
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 How bad?
I was wounded in the leg. Right here.
No, I can't. I'm going to back up a little bit.
It missed a big bone in my leg, but I always had a problem with it. Il m'appelait le palote à cause que je tombais souvent. J'avais les nerfs de la jambe coupés ici.
Oh, yeah. After the war.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it didn't hit any bone?
No.
Did it?
Check the tendon.
Oh, okay. Right in the thigh, huh?
Yeah, right here. I have a notch there in my leg.
Did you feel that? Did you have pain from that in your life? Or just weakness?
Yeah, sometimes these muscles, they want to pull each other out.
Oh, okay.
And I feel that pulling.
Yeah. Did you need surgery?
I was in the hospital for 11 months.
11 months?
Yeah, recovering from this. And I had malaria fever on top of that.
What kind of fever?
Malaria.
Oh, boy.
Because I caught that in Africa.
Now, when you catch malaria, it doesn't affect you, sometimes it doesn't affect you right away, it's later on?
No, it affected me after I came out of the army.
Yeah.
And I had lost a lot of blood, and then I started shaking. And I didn't know what was the matter with me. And I called a nurse over, and she looked at me, and she says, "You're as yellow as it can be." She says, "You must have served in the tropics." I said, "I served in Africa."
You were yellow, your skin was yellow.
Yeah, because they were giving us Adabrain tablet, they used to call that. And that would turn us yellow.
Oh.
So she knew right off what I had. She said, "Yeah, you have malaria."
Now this was a couple of years later.
Yeah, they noticed that after I was in Texas, I think, in the hospital there, recovering from all this.
So did your wound in your leg end your military career? Did you go to the hospital, you said, 11 months?
No, that ended my military service. Really, I don't think I would have been fit to serve because of my leg.
Yeah. So that was a pretty bad wound then.
Yeah. So my
laundry, can I come in?
Okay. Well, we're getting visitors come in here all the time, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is a busy place here.
The laundry and the haircut and
yeah, and all that.
Sometimes they bring you food. You should have asked her for some cold water.
Yeah, they have a nice orange drink that they bring in.
Would you like to have one? I'll go get one for you.
Okay.
Take a
Probably
break.
you'd like one.
Huh? No, we're still sitting. Okay, well, we're having a good time here. It's not a bad day outside. It's 30 degrees and supposed to have a full week of sun.
Okay.
And we've had a few storms, but not bad like we used to have, huh?
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks pretty good. So we're going to continue here. We had a little drink. We won't say what was in it. St. Orange juice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw your medals there. Now, when you landed in Omaha Beach, that's the invasion of Europe. It's June 6,
Yeah, that's what it was.
1944.
Yeah.
And Omaha is the most busy place, I think, huh?
It was, yeah. That was the beach that had to be taken.
Yeah.
Without Omaha, there was no invasion. They would not have made it. That was the key beach,
Is that right?
and it had to be taken. But we were supposed to land there June 5th, and the sea, the channel was too rough.
Okay.
So we were all in boat, and we're going along the English coast, and we're bouncing around in those Higgins boat, and that just whoop, whoop, down like this. Everybody was seasick.
Oh.
And we hugged the coast there for a day until the next day, June 6th, and Eisenhower gave the go-ahead, and we crossed the channel, but it was still bouncing, we were going up and down like this. For some reason, I was never seasick.
Is that right?
No. And so we crossed the channel, a bunch of guys seasick, with barf bag, we call that, and they
Oh, yeah.
go in there and throw that overboard. It stunk on that boat, holy Christ.
Oh.
So we made it across.
Barf bag.
Oh,
So you land and most of them are sick.
everyone there's seasick like but we came in, the second wave, the first wave had landed. Most of them were dead on the beach, and the boat were turned upside down, and it was a real disaster. We went in just the same because we were going in, regardless of what.
Wow.
And we were rigged with all kinds of device. If one failed, we would use the other. We had Bangalore torpedo, which was an 8-foot length of explosive that we were to push into the barbed wire. And then another one would come, another piece, and push it in there, and then we could pull a cap, and that would set the explosion, and it would blow a gap in the barbed wire. Because they'd have 3 or 4 rows of barbed wire like this, then they'd have barbed wire on top.
The Germans did.
Yeah, to get through that, so we'd blow a gap through that,
So before you, now was the beach, once you get through the beach, the sand there, you're like a cliff, you have to climb a cliff.
Yeah, there was a bank there,
Yeah.
probably 50 feet high, or maybe 100 feet, I forgot, but it was quite high. And that was crisscrossed with wire like this, and there was explosive tied to a black string that they had in there, so that if you touched that, you could blow up the whole side of the bank.
Holy crap.
So once we were through the barbed wire, we were not free yet. We had to go through that, and that was against the bank. And I had a wire clipper, a great big wire clipper like this. I could cut one of these about the size of my finger with that. Boom, we could cut it. And I was climbing up against the bank with that, and I was clipping that, and I would watch for that dark wire, which was tied to explosive. If I saw one, I had to dismantle it.
Holy jeez.
So they wouldn't set that explosive off.
How did you do that?
Well, I did. When I located where it was tied to, I could unravel that and get it out of the way.
Really?
Then I'd continue cutting, and I was looking up like this. I would cut. You know? Now on the bottom of the hill, I took my pack off because I couldn't go in under those wires. But once I got up there, and I thought I was pretty safe, and I jumped into a trench the German had dug. I jumped in that, and there was a big 16-inch shell from one of the battleships that had struck the side of that, and it had not exploded because they were designed to explode bunkers.
Okay.
That thing was stuck, and I could see the back end of it sticking out. I jumped in there, and I thought I was safe. The men that was following me, they all piled in. And I look at that, and I saw that thing, holy Christ, and I could hear it go click, 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 click.
Oh,
that thing was a time fuse.
Wow.
So out we went. Jesus Christ.
Did it blow?
It blew up after we were out of there.
You were lucky to get out.
But it was a bunker
Yeah.
shell.
And you could hear it tick.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was set to, Jesus Christ, we had a hard time. Everything we did was wrong.
Well, usually in a situation like this, a lot of things go wrong.
Oh yeah, oh
You
yeah.
can plan all you want, you know.
But once we got out of there, we were trained infantry and we were well trained. We had fought in Africa, Tunisia, and Sicily. And we gave him hell when we got where we could go.
Yeah. A lot of men died there. You must have. Some of them drowned, didn't even get
Oh, a
out.
lot of them. We lost all our tank there coming in because the tank was sealed. They were supposed to float. They didn't float. The minute they got off their ramp in the boat, they went down like a rock.
And the men inside.
Yeah, we lost all our tank. We lost all of our artillery.
Oh,
You know, everything went down. These artillery were wrapped in blankets that they were supposed to float. Whoever done that job did a lousy job because they all went down.
oh,
And the men with it.
oh.
So there we were with no tanks, no artillery. Except we had artillery from the ship.
Hey, boy.
I remember one destroyer that actually got the Medal of Honor. That destroyer would come right in close to the beach. I mean, I thought he was going to beach it. Right in close. And he would fire at those 88 that was up on the hill. He would fire at them point blank. And they'd fire back at him. I'd see the shell hitting around the destroyer.
Hey, boy.
And he'd make a circle and come back, and he gave him another dose of shell. I wish I could have seen that captain.
Yeah, he was.
Shake his hand.
He was one of the good ones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the Germans are entrenched there. They've got protection all kinds of ways, and they're
Yeah.
shooting at you. And did you have somebody die right next to you there that you saw?
Yeah, I saw guys standing there, and the first thing you know, we just saw a helmet just going up. Boop, 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 and the shell hit directly underneath you.
Yeah. How do you go through that? Do you? Yeah. How do you go through that? I'm just trying to think.
I mean, it's-
Don't you want to crawl in a hole or something?
Yeah, you want to hide somewhere, but you can't.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at him, and all of a sudden he's gone, and you see a helmet going down the
Yeah.
tumbling.
Your Polish friend there, he's with you all the time, did he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
On Omaha too?
All the while he was with me. He was my second in command.
Now, did he? Now, once you finally get on top of that beach and you don't have heavy equipment to help you, what happens there? Or how do you advance? These Germans are really firing at you there.
Well, we had we had mortars, 60 millimeter mortars. That's a tube about this long.
Okay.
With a bipart. And we could fire an 11-pound shell with that. And an infantry company, if I remember right, we had 3 of these too that could fire that round.
Okay.
So we had some of those.
Who had carried that off the ships there?
The infantry.
The men themselves?
Yeah, we had like a back strap that they could put that in.
Okay.
And they would use that.
Yeah. Now, if you got one of those guys carrying that stuff and you got hit, you exploded.
Oh. Well, we were all walking dynamite, really.
Yeah.
We had, like I had anti-tank grenade, I had...
On you?
On me, and I had explosive grenade, and I had smoke grenade, and I had them hung all around me. Anything that would have hit me in the belt here, I would have disappeared. Because I was loaded with that.
Oh, crap. It's amazing that you survived.
Yeah.
Ça a l'air que vous avez des femmes qui rentrent ici tout le temps. You've got all kinds of ladies coming
Oh,
in.
il y a tout le temps des femmes ici.
Nurses and all that.
Des nurses, toutes des belles.
Sont toutes belles, hein? How long have you been here at Highview?
I believe I came in. I've been a year.
A year?
Yeah.
You said you couldn't walk when you came in here?
No, I couldn't walk at all.
Now, how long have you been unable to walk at that point?
Well, I'm doing better now, but I would say about 6 months.
Your legs just wouldn't
take it.
Were hurting?
Yeah, I had some pain in my knee and my legs.
Yeah.
I'd sit along the corner of the bed there, I would slide right off. Of course, they'd wash me very close, and they still do.
Yeah.
They don't want me to get up on my own.
So your legs are weak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starts from the knee.
The knee down?
Yeah.
Now you say you're walking now with a walker.
I can walk with a walker.
Yeah. Here comes another of your girlfriends. It looks like it's true. Huh? In a home like this, you've got people checking up on you all the time.
All the time.
And they take good care of you.
Oh yeah, I have good care.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad was here. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They seem to care about you.
Oh yeah, they cater to me here. Very good.
Yeah. Well, so you're able to walk a little bit, not too much.
Too much. With my walker, I don't know where they put it. But
It's in back of you there.
Yeah. So I can walk with that.
Can you go down the hall?
They take me for a walk down the hall, and then they bring me back.
So just the fact that you are using a walker, you've been able to get to walk again.
Yeah.
And nothing else that they did for that.
I think if they'd let me go, I probably would manage to walk, but they don't want me.
No. No, because you fall and then you are really in trouble.
Yep, that's it.
Do you sleep okay?
Most night, yeah.
Yeah. Good appetite?
No appetite at all. I don't eat much, no.
No. Well, okay, so you survived up to now. You're in Normandy, right?
Yeah.
That's where we invaded, though. We on the Omaha beaches in Normandy.
Yeah.
Which is part of France. And you're going in, though. You're meeting resistance all the time, huh?
Yeah.
How long did that last?
Let's see. I was wounded June 13th, so I was there. I landed June 6th.
Oh, just 1 week.
Yeah, and I was wounded.
And what happened then?
They brought me back to the same beach I just landed, and they laid me in on one of these boat. They used to bring tank over, flat bottom boat that was lined up with stretcher.
Okay.
And I was in among that.
With other soldiers. Il y avait d'autres soldats là.
Yeah. So they brought me back to, I think it was Plymouth, that I landed there. And they picked up the stretcher and they brought us ashore. But that was 3 days after I was wounded. And I started feeling, my leg was not feeling good. They had given me a new pair of pants, new shirt and that, so there was no blood showing or nothing. So I decided to stand up. You know, that's the way I was anyway. I couldn't stay put. So I had one good leg. So I stood up and I leaned against a building that was there. No pants, there was no sign of blood anyway.
And you were in England by that
In
time.
England.
Yeah.
So they were sorting out who went to where, and who, so they came to me, and it says, "You take him over there." So I went over there. I hopped on one foot and I went. They never noticed nothing. And they put me to bed and I laid there. I was there about 2 days until that leg started hitching where I had put a plaster on that cast. And I called a nurse over and I says, "Nurse, when are they going to change my plaster?" She says, "Plaster?" She says, No, you're a shell shock case. No, I have a plaster on this leg. So she took my pants down and looked at that. Jesus, there was gangrene in there.
Wow.
She called the doctor and says, "Look what we have here." She says, "This man was wounded. He has gangrene and holy crap."
Oh boy.
Now they had to take that off, scrape that gangrene off of that, transfer me to a surgical ward. Finally get the help that I needed. You know.
Boy. It's you could have lost your leg, huh?
Oh yeah, easy. Because they took this green stuff I had in here, they took that out.
And the only thing you were feeling was itchy?
Hitchy, I started to feel hitchy underneath that cast.
Yeah? Not too much pain?
No, I didn't feel any. I guess I was immune to pain by then.
So now you were in the hospital 11 months after that? Or?
Yeah.
When did the malaria show up?
The malaria showed up in there not long after that.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Then I started shaking and, everybody else has got their blanket off and me, I'm looking for a blanket and I'm cold and I felt I wasn't cold, but I was shaking. So one of the nurses come by and she said, "No, you have something else." She said, "I believe you have malaria." "Where would you get that?" I said, "I've been in Africa." "Oh, that's where you got that."
Oh.
So there they started treating me with the quinine, I think. Not quinine because they couldn't get it. The Japanese had a hold of that. They fed me with Adabrine. And that would turn your skin yellow.
Okay.
So there I went on Adabrine.
You stay in England all that time?
I stayed in England. Then I decided I was tired of that hospital. And I decided to escape. What a foolish thing I did. I couldn't stay put, I'm telling you. And I took a manila envelope that they used to transfer us with, packed up with newspaper. And I got out of that bed in that hospital, and somewhere or another I escaped the MP with that manila envelope stuck with newspaper, and out I went.
Now, what was the purpose of the...
I was in England.
I know, but why the manila envelope was like you were...
Well, that's what they used to give us when they would transfer us.
Okay, so they thought you were...
That was a transfer.
That was a transfer,
And
yeah.
I'd mark the address of my division on that.
Oh, jeez.
Everything was good. So I took off. I was gone about 7 days until I started feeling bad. The leg was, I had a cast in it. I was going back to my unit because by that time I had got some letter from them. They were begging me to come back with them. So I said, I'm going back. But then when I turned around, I realized I couldn't make it. I couldn't get by the red cab down there in Southampton. They were guarding the boat. I couldn't. They were very sharp and they watched me.
Yeah.
But I went back to the hospital. When I came at the gate, the MP had my picture there. They were waiting for me. They stripped me of all of my button that said U.S., stripped me that completely. They gave me a court-martial.
Really?
Because I had deserted. Right. Now, I have no uniform to speak of, button all gone, my stripe ripped off my blouse and everything. So here I go in front of a board of colonel. First of all, they appointed me, they have to appoint you like a lawyer.
Okay.
And they appointed me a guy from Portland. I still remember his name, Lieutenant Kinnicky. And I told him the whole story. I said, I was not escaping anywhere. So I was going back to my unit. So that's where I was going. I was sick and tired of laying down in bed, doing nothing. And those guys were begging me to go back. That's what I was doing. He says, you know, you could be your best judge, he says, your best advocate. You go in there and you explain to them what you just told me. You can do that better than me. So I go in there with no button, my blouse open, my stripe all ripped off, and I walked in there and I saluted them. And I called myself Private Jandreau, as directed, sir.
Yes, and that's something.
They looked at me and they said, what did you do? I said, I was trying to join my unit. And I said, now they're trying to charge me for desertion, for joining my unit. That's where I was going. How did you manage that? So I had a manila envelope. I filled that up with newspaper. And I was gone 7 days. But I couldn't make it by the MP at Southampton, Garden the Beach. I couldn't do it. I turned back because my leg was starting to hitch. So the colonel was in charge of that. They look at each other and says, Jesus, what do we got here? So he says, he told the MP, he says, they took me out. They look at my record and all that. And then he called me back in. He stood up and he extended his hand to me, shake me, my hand. I thought, Jesus, what's going on here? So I shook his hands and he says, look, he told the MP, he said, I want you to return everything on his jacket the way you found him. All his medal, all his stripe, put it the way that you found him. And he says, Sergeant, you can get a 3-day pass if you want to tomorrow. So there goes those MP. They had to pin that everything on, and I made sure they had everything right. Of course, I was very fussy. I had beat that court-martial.
Well, yeah. They must have believed you, huh?
Well, yeah.
Plus your record.
Yeah, because they couldn't bust me for deserting. I was going to the front. That's where I was going.
Yeah, you didn't feel that much pain then in your leg if you were going.
No, I just felt hitchy.
Itchy, yeah.
You know. Then they got me back into the ward.
Yeah.
the nurse was all ready to send me into the stockade. I said, oh, no. I said, no, I'm ready to go for a pass. He said, no, look at it. I got the paper right here. But I said, I'm tired. I'm not going for a pass. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah. Stockades, I said, that's jail.
That's a jail.
Now, where'd you go those 7 days there? You were in, where were you, in Plymouth?
Yeah, I was walking along the road, and whenever there was a mess hall, I would stop and have a bite with them. So I was eating.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had those papers. I could stop and eat whatever I wanted.
You had an envelope.
I just scribbled my address on that. They were amazed at that. They said, look, you can buy all those MPs. They never stop you. I said, no. Why should they?
So now there's no way you can go back to the front line.
No, they would not, because I wasn't healed yet, you know.
Yeah.
So they sent me back to the hospital.
Yeah.
But that's where I was going. I wanted to go to my unit.
But once you're in the hospital there, did you stay there long, or?
Then I came down with malaria.
Oh boy.
And that did it.
That must feel awful, eh?
Yeah, I had malaria, and I felt like I was cold, and I was shaking, and
Feel weak.
weak, and I shook.
Huh.
So when the nurse came over, she said, "You're shaking awful bad." I said, "Yeah, I know." And I'm wrapped up in blanket, and those guys are sweating. She says, "You have a bad case of malaria, my friend."
So when they ship you back to the U.S., you didn't go back after that?
No.
When did you come back here?
I came back to the United States.
Were you there a long time in England, there in the hospital?
No, I wasn't there very long, because when Lieutenant Kaneki, that had acted as my counselor,
Yeah.
he came in one night and he says, "Look," he says, "how fast can you leave?" I says, "It depends on which way I'm going." He said, "Well, I have a jeep outside," and he says, "There's a hospital ship in Southampton waiting to go back in the state, and you have a bed on that ship." He says, "You better get out of bed, get in that jeep, and get in that hospital ship. You're going home, young man." I said, "In this case, I'm all ready. Let's go." So I got on that ship. I came back here.
So you were still in the hospital when you came?
Oh, yeah.
You still had malaria there?
Yeah, I had malaria. I went to the hospital in Texas, I think, for quite a while, that I had malaria. And that's what kept me out of the service.
Well, you had done enough.
You know.
You had done your share.
But you know, when you were young, you know, you're full of ambition, and that doesn't strike you at all.
Is that right?
No.
You felt like doing more?
No, I said, no, I'm not ready to quit yet.
They must have liked having you in the army.
Yeah. So I got in the hospital in Longview, Texas.
And then, were you there when the war ended?
I got out really on points. The point system came out.
Oh, how does that work?
And if I had enough point in the service, you could get out, they discharge you. And me, I had lots of points. So when they transferred me from Longview, Texas to Devens, I came back there. And when I entered the gate there at Devens, I showed him my record and all that. He says, "You know," he says, "you sign here," he says, "you can be a private, out of the service tomorrow." I said, "Give me that paper." I signed that, and I signed myself out, which was a bad mistake, because I could have come out service connected, but I didn't know that.
Oh boy.
See, and I signed myself out. So there they were cleared of me.
Do you think he did that on purpose, this guy?
I think they pulled a fast one on me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Seems to me with your record you had.
Yeah, the record would have done something.
Wow.
So I was out of the service, and I had signed myself out, so it had nothing to do with me.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it worked.
Doesn't sound right to me.
No, it wasn't right.
Now, what do you do there? You're in Massachusetts. You're on the. You got a bad leg. You're
No, they put me on a train. I went back to St. Francis.
really just like that.
Yeah, and I was discharged.
You remember what date that was about? Was the war over?
Not in Europe. It was done in Europe, not in Japan.
Japan, yeah, it was still going on.
Yeah. But by then I was out of the service.
So what do you do when you come back to St. Francis? You're only about 22 years old, I
Yeah. And I had made an allotment home. I had an allotment. I sent a lot of money home. I sent most of my money went home. And my mother was not the kind of mother that would save money.
Oh, is that right?
She blew everything that I sent her. Everything. I should have known better than that because she couldn't keep a cent in her pocket. She had bought fur coat for her and for my sister, and she had bought even a car she bought for my brother-in-law.
Wow.
That was all my money.
There's your pot is gone.
So all my money was gone.
Me.
You know.
Oh.
And that's the God's honest truth. That's what happened.
Must have been a shock.
So I come home. She handed me that bank book, and I look at that. There was not a single dime left in it.
Holy gee.
You know. So I said, I send that to you, for better or for worse, and you got it. So there it is. Or forget about it.
Nothing you could do.
No, money was gone.
So you're starting at nothing.
Nothing, zero. And I went in the woods.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Now the woods, can you work in the summertime, in the wintertime? Is this a year-round thing, or usually it's the winter, huh?
Well, I worked as long as I had a job. You know, they would work winter and summer, and in the winter we would haul pulp.
Yeah.
And in the summer we'd cut pulp. Whatever it was pulp. 4 foot length.
4 foot.
And I bucksawed in the yard with a bucksaw. Because I didn't have a dime left.
Now that's hard work.
That's hard work, yeah.
And it's work all day long.
All day long. And in the winter we'd haul truck pulp.
Yeah.
And
So
we had no loaders or nothing. We load that by hand.
Well, I remember, see, I never did that, but I remember that they were loading 4-length pulp into the trains, you know, the cars of the trains, and they would take them down to Millinocket, I guess, or wherever.
Yeah.
It was all 4 foot because that's as much as anybody could handle.
Yeah, 4 foot wood.
And some of those were big and they were heavy and
Big block like this.
yeah. You must have remained strong to make working like that.
Yeah, I was in pretty good shape. So we'd pair up 2 of us together and we'd learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And we could unload a load pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You'd come with a truck to the railroad and unload in the car and
At first they had the boxcar, which was very hard because we had to carry a block of wood in the boxcar. You know, which I believe was about 50 feet long, and you had a big block of wood in your hand, and you had to carry that
Like the boxcar was covered all around.
That's right.
Okay.
Then they came out with the open car,
Oh yeah.
which was not as bad. Because we could stand on that and we would pick a block. The two of us got to work together and pick it out in there.
Okay.
So I had this arm longer than the other one.
He was using his left arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I've always considered the work that people do around here like a sport. In other words, you have skills. You have some that are very good at it.
Yeah.
You know, like cutting so much pulp in a day, picking so many potatoes.
Yeah.
You had to have some skills. People were better than others.
Yeah.
They had the top men in each group there.
Yeah, I had my wife used to pick 100 barrel every day.
Is that right?
She was a fast picker.
Who is she? Who is she gone?
No, that's her picture right there. That little woman right there.
Oh. Where is she now?
She's right here. She's in the corridor here. I have an apartment for her.
Oh.
So she sees me every day. She comes up here and stays with me.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah. But, yeah, we've been married 65 years.
That's you and her then?
That's me and her, yeah.
I'm going to take a picture of that pretty soon there. And what's her family? Where's she from?
She's from St. Francis. She's a Jandreau, but we're about fifth cousin.
Oh, okay. And you've been married since 60, you said?
Huh?
60 years you've been married?
65 years.
65.
Yeah.
So you got married not soon after you come out of the service there.
I got married in 1946.
Have children?
I had 5 children. 3 boys and 2 girls.
Are they around here?
My 3 boys are up here, but my girls are down. I have one in Connecticut, and there's one in that's Myra. She's in. She'll kill me if I don't remember where she is.
Well,
she's in around Standish.
Okay, that's in southern Maine.
Yeah.
Now, who are the boys?
The boys live around here. There's Keith, and he works in the woods. And there's Handy. He drives a truck for TNT.
Okay.
And Tony. Well, Tony's disabled because he had a compound fracture of the right leg.
Oh, is that right?
And he has a plate in his arm, in his leg.
So he hasn't fully recovered from that?
Yeah, he's pretty well disabled.
Oh, yeah. These guys must be in their 50s?
Well, I believe that Andy is 50, should be 50. Of course, Keith is a couple of years older.
Yeah.
And then there's Tony.
Well, you're lucky that they stayed around here.
Yeah, they stayed around here, and they come here and see me. And,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I do, I come from Fort Kent to Saint Basile across the river there, twice a week to play tennis.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I come, I see TNT trucks on the bridge, you know,
Oh, yeah.
going across. TNT.
TNT.
That's become a big outfit.
That's a big outfit, yeah.
I don't know how many trucks they have, but it's they're all over the place.
Yeah, so that's where name it, he's trucking for them. He's driving a truck. He used to own his own 18-wheeler, and he would truck all over the country.
Oh.
But then when the gas price got too high, he just sold that and went to driving for others.
Okay. It's amazing how what these things do to people, the price of gas.
Yeah.
It affects people.
It does, yeah.
You know, I interviewed a guy who used to go with his RV every spring. He was a farmer. And when the time came, he'd go, you know, vacation with his wife, with his trailer there, his RV. And it was parked in the barn when I went to see him. He said, we can't afford it anymore.
No, I guess.
Yeah. I would think a thing like that probably goes 3 or 4 miles a gallon, you know.
So he sold his nice truck, he got rid of that, and he went into driving for others.
Yeah. Less headaches.
Yeah. Didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, gee, that's quite something. You and your wife, you're both around and you're living in the same place.
Yeah, that's a picture of our, when we renewed our vow.
Or what was the occasion there, 50 years or what?
65 years.
Oh, I see. So it's recent, this picture.
Yeah, that's a picture that was taken not very long ago.
I think I'm going to go and bring my camera there. Here's Valier Jandreau and his wife Winifred. And where was the picture taken?
That was taken during our vow renewal. I think that was taken here in Fort Kent.
Renewed your vows after 65 years of marriage. Winifred Jandreau. You spent your life as a woodsman.
Right.
And who did you work for?
I worked quite a long time for Roland Pardo.
Okay. From Eagle Lake.
From Eagle Lake, yeah.
He had a big outfit, I guess, huh?
He did, yeah.
And he passed away quite a long time ago. He was still, I would think, I don't know if he was 70.
Yeah, he died young, yeah. And I work also for Bill Pinkham, young Bill.
Okay.
And they were all fine people.
Yeah.
They used the men well.
When you were a kid there with your parents, who were your parents?
Antoine Jandreau and Edith Boucher.
They had a big family?
We were 10 in our family.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you remember before you joined the army how life was? Did you go potato picking as a family?
We went potato picking every fall. And,
So you went away, or
we went away. We went usually to Caribou.
Okay.
Yeah, and we picked there for a farmer that was called Mr. Beveridge. We used to pick for him.
You'd stay there for what, 4 weeks?
Yeah, about 4 weeks.
Yeah, it took a little longer then.
Yeah, pick by hand.
Yeah.
And they had this old digger with an engine on top, you know, that would go put.
Oh, geez. Different from now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to somebody this week. When he was a little kid, he would debark spruce and fir.
Yeah, oh yeah, with the spud.
A spud. And he was telling me, he was only 12 years old, how hard that was, you know. And the flies. And then when the sap wouldn't run anymore, then they'd haul those logs to the yard, and he'd have to cut them like you did there with a box saw. And 4 feet, you know.
But that bark, especially the spruce bark, that was very tough.
Yeah.
We had to have strong arm to break that bark.
Can you imagine a 12-year-old doing that? He said
And the fir was not as bad.
Yeah.
But the spruce, you had to cut a ring around them so that you could pull them aside, come back and pull the other way.
And you, a lot of branches on spruce, huh?
And there was branches. It depends on where you were cutting.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
You know, some trees didn't have much branch on them.
Just at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you cut a spruce from it that's by itself there, it's got branches all over the place.
Yeah.
Hard work. How did you get rid of insects, flies in the summer? What did you
That was
use?
another thing.
What did you use?
We used to have DDT to spray the horses, pure out of the can.
DDT.
DDT with a gallon can. So we'd take that and we'd spray each other with that.
Holy.
We'd spray our cat and we never got cancer.
Isn't that something?
We just pumped that on us.
Now it's banned, isn't it?
Well, now they don't want you to touch that.
Oh.
But we never got cancer out of that.
You never did, huh? Somebody else, a farmer, told me the same thing.
And my brother is 85, I believe, 86. He's still going strong, and I'm 90. Never affected us.
DDT, pure DDT.
Yeah, it might have affected our brain, but we don't know.
I don't think so. So, did you have all the stuff that you used to put on your skin, or did that take care of the bugs?
We used to use pine tar.
Okay.
Tar, you know, that we used to rub on our body.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would spray DDT to make sure we had enough.
Maybe the pine tar saved you.
Pine tar probably did it.
And then in the winter you would, did you move to the camp for a while? Or?
Yeah, we would haul pulp. At first we were hauling pulp with team of horses on bobsled.
Okay.
And we'd load on that and we'd take that up to the main road.
Do you really think that our winters are not as bad as they used to be then?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to have a lot of below zero, huh?
Yeah, I've seen it down where the thermometer read 30, but I've seen that everything was down in the red ball,
Yeah.
where it was closer to the 40.
Well, last, I think 3 years ago, we were supposed to hit 50 below in Allagash one day.
Yeah.
It was in the paper. This year, it hasn't been bad.
I don't think we got that bad.
Yeah. A lot more snow, do you think? You remember? A lot more snow?
More snow and colder.
Yeah. And longer.
Longer. Now, one year we loaded pulp right on the river, and I remember we would go out just for a few minutes, and we couldn't stand it. We had to get back in the truck because the cold was just gripping us right in the face.
Is that right? That's cold.
Oh, that was cold.
Couldn't warm up.
No, we'd get in the truck, and the truck was idling, so we could warm up a little bit and jump out and load again. That was all done by hand. There was no thing to load us automatic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, you know, I was thinking, this man was telling me about spudding, removing the bark off a tree.
Yeah.
Now they cut a tree, and by the time they put it on the side, there's no more bark on it.
It's gone.
And they know how much wood is in there. Holy mackerel, what a difference.
Because I peeled, one spring, my brother and I peeled a cedar pole by axe.
Cedar pole?
Cedar pole. And they were not peeled, so we had to use our axe and peel that by axe.
On the length.
On the length, yeah.
It wouldn't come off too easy, or did it?
No, we had to have a good sharp axe and we just staged the bark.
Those are telephone poles?
Telephone pole, yeah.
Yeah. All kinds of hard work, huh?
Yeah. Hard on the back and hard on the arm.
So you were healthy most of your life then?
Yeah, most of my life, yeah.
How long did you do that, this hard work there?
I was about 40 years old when the things that I'd done in the service started catching up with me.
Oh.
And I couldn't do it.
What kind of things you're talking about?
Well, one thing, malaria and PTSD.
Yeah.
I took 2 programs of PTSD to get rid of my anxiety and
This feeling of always having a gun with you there. Huh?
That's right.
That was part of it.
I always carried a gun with me.
Always looking.
Even in the wood, I had a gun with me. I know where it was.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, I could reach it any time. That was like a protection.
Yeah. You felt
Yeah.
felt more better with that.
Oh yeah, I felt safe with that.
Yeah.
As long as I could reach my gun, I felt safe.
You never needed it though.
No, I never shot at anybody that I know of.
Did you go hunting after that when you
Oh,
came back? Yeah.
Yeah, I hunted.
Yeah.
And I guided in the wood, and
Oh, you did guide?
I hunted, and
Now this what do you call that again? PTSD. PTSD. All of a sudden at 40 you start to feel the effects of that?
well, yeah, and I went to two courses at in Togas, PTSD.
Try to get that out of your mind.
That's right, and the second time I went in, I wound up as the leader of the group.
You'd always been a leader anyway.
I had been one anyway, so I was leader of both of them. See, one guy, he got himself in trouble. But I don't know if he punched someone and he got in trouble. Anyway, they were going to close the program entirely, and that program was doing a lot of good.
Oh yeah.
So they asked me, the Vietnam veteran that was in there, they asked me if I would be their leader and represent them. I said, I can't do that. As you know that you acted out of line here. But I said, I'll sit on the sideline, and if I can help you, I'll come in and do it. But I'm not going to represent you. So that's what I did. I sat on the sideline, and I listened to what they were saying. And they were going to break the entire program, dissolve it. So that's when I came in. And I said, if you're willing to listen to me, I said, you're destroying a very good program here that has helped a lot of veterans. On account of one man, you're going to destroy that. I said that I would be willing to represent them if you would not dissolve that program, because you'd be able to help others. I said, I know Gio Santi, I know him, I still remember him. I said, I know him, and if we promise that we were going to keep him in line.
So this guy had punched somebody there?
Yeah, and I said, we'll keep him in line. Don't dissolve that program, you'll be hurting all the veterans.
Well.
So they said, well, we'll go and consider that. And they came back and they said, well, Mr. Jandreau, we have considered that, and we're going to leave it up to you. We're going to keep the program going. So I saved that program.
Yeah. Well, it would seem that they would want a program like that. These guys were Vietnam now, they were coming in, huh?
That's right. It was a good program for them, and they needed that.
They had a tough time too in Vietnam.
Yeah. Because they had an idea now in World War II, this is how it was. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I stood up and I says, listen, you need to learn a lot of things here. That's not how it was in World War II. You stated that we used to cross the ocean. It was safe and we landed in a safe harbor and that. I said, how safe did you think that Omaha Beach was?
Yeah.
And we cleared the harbor in New York and they would pull the chain out and let the ship out. Well, there was frogmen underneath that boat trying to blow up that boat. That's how safe it was. And they were throwing grenades on the side of the ship to explode that, to kill the frogman. Because that's how we crossed the ocean.
Germans were this close to us, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'd come into the harbor.
Submarines?
Yeah, in fact, they went up the St. Lawrence River, some of them.
You know what? I was there last summer and I saw a plaque there that described German subs in the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, they went right over the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
So here they're explaining that we had a nice, safe trip across.
Ah.
I says, come on, I got to enlighten you guys, because that's not the way it was. You know, and in a harbor they used to drop grenades alongside the ship, because when the harbor, when they'd open their chain, when they had that to stop the sub from coming in, they would come in under the boat.
Oh, yeah.
They would swim in underneath, they were in the harbor. And they would blow up ship. Oh, we had a nice safe ride across, so let me tell you.
A lot of them didn't make it.
Yeah.
I think this week I was reading about a big boat that had 2,000 or 3,000 men, and in the North Atlantic it got torpedoed.
Yeah.
And there's 600 men that survived, so that means over 2,000 died, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, drowning in the icy North Atlantic.
Yeah.
So that's what you were up against.
Oh yes, it happens quite often.
Yeah.
Because you're laying in a bunk here and there's only about half an inch of steel separating you from the ocean. You didn't know when a torpedo would come riding through that.
Yeah. When you crossed, you just crossed once and coming back, huh? You stayed there.
Yeah, I crossed on the, now I can't name the ship. Jeez. There was the biggest ship on the ocean anyway, and she was the fastest ship around.
At the time?
At the time, and the submarines couldn't catch her.
Oh.
So once we cleared the harbor, they'd let her go along.
Oh.
And she'd open up her engine, and there we went. In 4.5 days, we'd be across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
What's the name of that ship anyway?
Well, you know what? You're a hero, all right, I'll tell you that. I've never talked to somebody who went to a war and were right in the middle of it all the time.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the tape there. We're going to say goodbye, and I'm glad finally we met. I had heard about you, but I think maybe a few years ago you didn't want to talk about this stuff.
No, I didn't want to. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But when I went through the PTSD program, that taught me that I could get rid of it if I would talk about it.
Oh, okay. Because I've tried to interview other World War II veterans, and they don't want to.
Yeah.
And Vietnam the same way. But once in a while somebody does.
Yeah.
And we learn how it was, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it does help to talk about it.
Oh yes, it did. Because it's killing and getting killed.